there goes my baby right there. The future I imagine is now my present. Every time I get behind the wheel of my Tesla Model Y, I feel a rush of excitement. I mean, the fresh smell of a new car and the smooth drive make me fall in love all over again. The all-white interior is stunning, even though that means I'll have to clean the interior more often. I really don't mind because every minute I spend in this car brings me joy. As I drive through my neighborhood, the instant acceleration pushes me forward in an electrifying burst, leaving the past behind. Each turn shows me something new about this extraordinary machine, challenging what I thought and making me notice more. In this follow-up journey, I'll share my honest thoughts and first impressions. I'll deep dive into the details that make this electric car both groundbreaking and flawed. From the amazing parts to the areas that could be better, I'll take you along for a truthful and engaging ride. So buckle up and join me as I embrace this electrifying change. So I just traded my Mercedes-Benz for a Tesla Model Y. And I kind of want to talk about my very first impression, my review, my thoughts, talk about everything from the exterior to the interior to the technology behind it and why I actually bought a Tesla. Why I bought a Tesla, honestly, was I kind of got tired of maintenance and I got tired of, going to the gas station, and I just feel like I needed something new, something fresh. And if I was to buy a new car today, I really would want to buy a car that's future-proof, right? Now, that is very subjective, but in my opinion, the future is going electric, right? So I definitely want to buy a car that in the next couple of years, it's going to be future-proof. So that's one of my reasons why I bought a Tesla. And also, being a luxury car owner, it gets pretty expensive when you have to do oil change, maintenance, change spark plugs, and a lot of things like that, right? It gets very expensive. Like, my Mercedes was costing me about $400-500 to do oil change, right? And sometimes I have to do oil change 2 or 3 times in a year, right? Because I do drive a lot. I'm a real estate agent as well as a content creator. So I do a lot of driving, and that means I pay a lot of money. Buying gas is not a joke, right? I spend about $60-70, about $65, depending on the gas station, buying gas. And sometimes I buy gas twice a week, right? So you can imagine how, to me, I felt like I was throwing money away. What really, the pivotal moment for me, honestly, was, I wanted to fix certain things in the car, in my old Mercedes, and the mechanic was like, yo, it's gonna cost you $9,000 to fix this. And then I was like, okay, thank you. I'm gonna decline this, and I'm just done with anything engine. That was just, and I've been thinking about this for a very long time. So this wasn't a rational decision. I have been thinking about Tesla, honestly, probably for the past 4 or 5 years, right? I just never made the move or like put the trigger. Now, let's talk about the exterior of the car. Tesla doesn't really give it that much options compared to like other automakers in terms of like what you can really do with the outside of the body. Honestly, with the old body, there's not much customization, right? Like when I ordered my Tesla, I didn't really have much customization to do. I only picked like 4 or 5 things, right? Because that's all you can really pick. So when we talk about the exterior, the only thing you can actually modify is really the color and a choice of tire. That's most of what you can do, and I'm probably going to wrap it in the future, right? So I didn't want to splash another $2,000, $1,500 on a color that I'm probably going to wrap or change later in the future. I'm not really a big fan of like the other colors that were on the website, so I just chose this one. Now, when it comes to the interior of the car, there's not much to talk about, but at the same time, there's also a lot to talk about, right? The reason why I say there's not much to talk about is because it is simple. Like, Tesla had to be the most simple car I've ever been into. It kind of gave me that feel, when I entered this, I feel like I'm in space. Like, it gives me that space feeling, that aerodynamic feeling, like I'm on a plane, like I'm up in the air. Just because of the, like the design, right? I really like the roof, right? As you can see, the roof goes all the way to the back. I think that's one of my favorite features. Now, when you're ordering a Tesla, you really have 2 options for the interior, right? You have a black or white interior. Like I said, that Tesla doesn't really give you that much options, but it is a very customizable car, right? Meaning that after you purchase the car, you can customize it. It's like a blank canvas that looks good already, right? Don't get me wrong, I wouldn't really change a lot of things because I just love how it's simple. So you're either somebody that likes simple things in cars, or you're somebody that like a lot of things in cars, right? Like comparing to my Mercedes E300, I had a lot of functionalities, a lot of buttons. I had lights, lights all over, the car. It's totally different when I come in here and I'm like, wait a minute, I don't have the lights, I don't have the buttons, but it takes some getting used to. But when you do get used to it, it is beautiful. I just love how it's simple and I can focus on just driving, right? Now, there are a lot of cool functions in the car. Like, for example, over here, we have a camera that actually watches you when you're driving. So I was on full self-driving yesterday. I was testing it out and I was also on my phone. And the next thing I got was pay attention to the road. Then I looked, I was like, oh my God, there's a camera looking at me. I'm like, okay, how did you know I was on my phone? I mean, it didn't say that I was on the phone, but it would just tell him to pay attention on the road. I forgot the message, but something like that, right? And I was like, how? Another thing that I like about the interior is that there's a lot of storage space, right? Like, there's no engine, there's no, caliber, there's no, whatever that is, right? There's no stuff, right, that's holding the car. So I'm able to have a lot of space. Like, I have the cup holders, I have the chargers that automatically charges. Now, let's talk about the technology inside the Tesla. Tesla is the best technology that I've seen in cars. Now, I might have not been in a lot of cars, but I haven't seen a car that has so much technology packed right. Like, I feel like they sat down and designed these cars with the user in mind, right? Like, with everything you can think of in a technology, let's pack it into a car. And that is beautiful, coming from a tech enthusiast like me. Like, I love tech. I've been a tech person since I was born, right? So when I see anything with technology, I'm always like, whoa. And that was the reason why I bought my Mercedes then, because like, it did have a lot of technology in it. But 2 years ago, I drove Tesla. I was like, okay, my Mercedes doesn't have any technology comparing to this. Like there's a lot of functionalities that's just really dope, right? Like, I like the connectivity with my phone, because I can literally just walk in the car and it unlocks as long as it detects my phone, right? When I walk away, it locks out. My phone is my key. So like, that's really dope. I do have like, the car does come with like the key cards and stuff, but just having it connected to your phone, and let's say if my wife want to drive my car, I can literally just send her a key. One of my favorite feature in the car actually is the tablet. Well, I call it the tablet, but it is the dashboard. I love how, there's one central unit to control every single thing, right? Like, on the dashboard right over here, I can control the glove box, I can control the mirror, the locks, the light, the settings. Everything is all in place in this unique system, right? I don't have any buttons, really. I mean, I have the music and stuff buttons here, but other than that, I'm going to be controlling everything here. If I want to open the trunk, close the trunk, everything is all done within the dashboard. And also, the dashboard has a built-in navigation. So, this car is really designed for me to be able to use it without my phone at all, right? If anywhere I'm going, I can just navigate to it right over here. So it's pretty dope. I like the dashboard. I can control the AC unit right from here. Everything that I need to do. I also like the fact that there's a really good infotainment system, right? I can watch YouTube, of course, not while I'm driving, but you get the point. I can watch YouTube. There's camera all over the entire car. I can record sawing parts. If I park my car in a neighborhood that I'm not happy with, I can literally set it to a mode where it's going to record anybody that comes close to the car, right, and send it to me. Now, it does take some time to get used to the system, because, I remember like, okay, I wanted to clean the wiper, and I was like over here trying to find the buttons and stuff. And then I found out that, okay, if I want to change the wiper, I just come to the dashboard and press it, and it wipes, and then I go to off, and it's off. Now, let's talk about my favorite feature, which is the full self-driving and like the autopilot and other good stuff. Oh my God, I've been suffering in this life. Like, that's literally what I told myself. I said, turn out fire poverty. Like, if you haven't experienced it yet, I can't really tell you how it feels, right? My wife was testing it yesterday, and the lane was automatically changing, and then she wanted to grab the wheel, and I'm like, no, don't worry. The lane is changing itself. The car like fully can drive itself from point A to point B. I think now driving is going to become more of like a therapy session, right? Where if I have to go 40, 50 miles, I can set the location. It's driving me to it. Of course, I have to touch it every now and then. But then this now allows me to think of ideas. And of course, make sure you pay attention to the road when you're driving. It's very important. Don't say this is a full self-driving car and now you're just going to sleep. It doesn't work that way. So while I was considering buying a Tesla, I think that one of the most interesting things I wanted to know is, how can I fit my lifestyle with a battery car, all right? And I actually rented it out for a week to try it out, to see, okay, if I go in between showings, am I able to charge it? How long is it going to last for each showing? And I found out that the battery was actually pretty good, right? It was pretty good to last me all day long. And the cool thing is, Tesla have a lot of superchargers around multiple locations, right? And like, they are expanding a lot, right? Luckily for me, in my area, I have a couple of supercharging stations. I have a supercharging station just about 7 minutes drive from my home. That means that I can go charge my car in 20 minutes and just continue on the road. I haven't installed the charging stuff in the garage yet, but we'll get into that later on. Now, let's talk about the most important thing about this car is how much does it cost? In today's market, buying a car right now is not a joke, right? Inflation, all this stuff. Cars are hella expensive right now. So pretty much the base for this Model Y was 47,000. Now this is the long range all-wheel drive. I'm in the DC metropolitan area, so you definitely have to have an all-wheel drive, especially with like when it snows and all that stuff, right? And then knowing me, I like things that look good, right? So I definitely had to change the wheels. Like I mentioned earlier, I went for the Stealth gray color options. It's free, it's included already, and I'm probably gonna wrap it later down the road, right? So with my customizations, it brought my total to $52,630. Now you're like, whoa, that's a lot of money. Yes, it is a lot of money, but for the technology, for me, it's pretty dope. Now there's a EV tax credit, right? If you're in the United States, there's a federal tax credit of $7,500, right? And I'm in Maryland. I'm also going to get $3,500, so that's $10,000 that I'm going to be getting back for purchasing an EV car. Luckily for me, I was able to trade my old Mercedes and get a lot of, well, not a lot of money. I got some money. I would have probably wanted a lot more money, but I drove that car a lot, so like I can't complain. I was able to get a 1% interest rate on the car, which is unheard of, right? Which is unbeatable. And I feel like that's one thing that actually grabbed me to purchasing the car now, because I was going to wait for the next 4 months before I actually make the move. But immediately I saw Tesla introduced 1%. I mean, well, it's not even 1%, it's 0.99% interest rate. I was like, okay, I'm going to make a move now, because you don't see this every day. Now, of course, with everything good, there's always going to be the bad, right? So there are a couple of things that I'm like, come on, I just spent $52,000 on this car. There should be no reason why I'm having a design flaw. And yes, there's design flaw. Like literally, I don't know, you can't really see it, but they forgot to hook the back of the car. Like the seat is literally unhooked. Like you can see that right there, it's unhooked. So, and I just found out about that last night. I was too excited when I went to pick the car. I didn't even see, I actually thought that's how the design was. But last night when I got back home, I actually found out that like it wasn't hooked. Then like I tried to like hook it and like it wasn't working. I'm like, okay, I'm not even gonna stress myself to it. I'm gonna give them a call right after this video, because literally I woke up like 7 a.m. and I started making this video. And also right on this side, by the driver's side, this plastic right here is not covered, right? They forgot to cover it or whatnot, and that sucks. I'm like, I spent a lot of money on this car. I should not be having this issue at all. So Tesla, y'all gotta do better when it comes to the assembling and other stuff, right? Another thing that's not a cons, really, but I feel like they could have done a lot better. Like when I picked the car up, there's bird on top of my roof. So I just feel like they can pay a little more attention to, the quality of the delivery, right? That might not be a lot of money to you, but that's a lot of money. It's a lot of money, right? All right, so now I'm about to go on a fun drive. I'm gonna be driving around. I just enjoy being in this car so much that I just wanna ride around the neighborhood and just get that cool feeling, right? And just enjoy the true ownership of a Tesla. So with that said, I'm gonna see you in the next video. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, and if y'all want to see more Tesla videos from me, definitely put it in the comment and maybe I'll create more videos, right? And let's go. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.